Circumstances don't matter when you're manifesting your specific person because no matter the distance you feel or perceive you are to anything, you can always get there, right? And take, for example, any location that you can pick in the earth, in the universe, in our solar system, wherever. Pick any point or place. And if I were to tell you or ask you to tell me all of the things or ways in which it's going to stop you to get there, let's say you need to go to a different continent. You'd be like, well, there's water in between. And you would be like, well, just take a boat, right? Or if it's even further, you would fly a plane, right? But that's the aspect, and that's how we view our specific person manifestation. But always, no matter the circumstance, whether it's water, air, whatever it is, there's always a way around that. And the reason that circumstances really disempower us rather than thinking of they don't matter at all is because we usually allow our circumstances to convince us we can't have something, right? We may think no contact or being long distance means that I can't have my specific person. But does it really? Does you being on the opposite side of the world from a country or a state or a person stop you from getting there? You would say, well, no, it's always available to you, right? You always have the availability to go anywhere on Earth. You just get the right gear, right? And so the same thing is with our specific person or any manifestation that you want. You can get, you can have, you can receive anything that you want. And there is always a path from where you are to where you want to go. We just need the proper gear, which is the assumptions. So what assumptions do we need to get from here to there? And viewing it in that way, hopefully right now you're thinking any of your circumstances that you feel are stopping you from getting your specific person, which I guarantee you are not. Hopefully they're melting away at this point and you start to view them from a different angle. And this whole video and this idea was because I was talking with someone and they were asking that. They were thinking about circumstances of how am I going to get past A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. But how come, again, when it comes to manifesting our specific person, we don't think the same way when we're going to the store, when we're going to the supermarket, when we're going to our friend's house, when we're flying on vacation out of the country, right? How come you always know, no matter what the circumstances to any location on Earth, you have ability to go around it? The question always is then, do we want to? How bad do we want it? Because really, you can go anywhere on Earth. You can have anything that you want, but it's all about how badly do you want to get that thing and how much do you want to change your state in order to receive it? And so most of the time, I would say, if you're worried about your circumstances with your specific person, I would say it's more a focus of why we want our specific person, and we focus again more on that as compared to how. And I actually in the past made a whole video on how why is more important than how, because again, you would say that with traveling anywhere. If you were in the US and you wanted to go to Australia, you would know you could get there, right? But you make all these excuses of why you can't. It'll take too long to fly there. I can't take a boat there. It's too expensive, all this stuff. But those are circumstances that if you were to look at your reality and yourself, and those are basically excuses, you would say, yeah, I could get around those if I really wanted to, right? And so I want you to begin viewing that, or your specific person manifestation in that same way. These circumstances, you could get around if you wanted to, right? It's only that we are just looking at the problems rather than the solutions. And that's why I was saying, focusing more on why we want to do this. If you know why you want to go to Australia in this example, because it's so much fun, I don't know, I've never been to Australia, but I'm sure it's fantastic. Give me all the reasons why Australia is a great place to be in the comments. But when you focus on that, it puts you into the state, it puts your subconscious in alignment, and your reality will begin to morph and change to get you there, right? Focusing on how long the plane ride is or how expensive a plane ticket is isn't going to help you, right? That would push you more into the state that we're in. So when we're manifesting our specific person, you don't have to focus on circumstances. Don't think about how, why, or we do want to focus on why. Don't focus on how you're going to get over that circumstance. If you just focus on why you want to do it, what is so amazing with you and your specific person? What are you trying to get? Why are they the best person to be with? What do you want to do after you get married? What kind of happiness are they going to bring into your reality? And what type of happiness are you bringing into their reality? And when you focus more on those questions, as I mentioned, the circumstances begin to completely disintegrate. Because you're going to remember, they were never stopping us in the first place. They were just, the only thing really stopping us is our state. And I can't tell you, again, how important to know you can always go the distance. You can always change your state to whatever it is that you want. You can get to any place on earth. And you might be thinking, well, how do I go to the bottom of the ocean? Scuba gear. Well, I mean, like really intense scuba gear, or submarine, right? But you can literally go anywhere. They've been to the bottom, the deepest part of the ocean already. You can be like, space. Been there, right? So it's like, there's no place outside of our grasp or outside of our will to receive, and your specific person is no different. You can, without a doubt, be with your specific person. Doesn't matter the circumstance. Doesn't matter if they're in another country. Doesn't matter if they're out of the States. No contact. You don't know them. All of those, again, are just those in-betweens that we have to ask ourselves, do I really want this? To then assume the state and change and overcome this circumstance. Because really there is no circumstance, right? It's just how we're going to view the problem. And because we perceive these circumstances as blocking, but they're not blocking us at all, right? It's just all an assumption that we are creating, and that's what's causing us to think that they're blocking us. Because being in no contact doesn't stop you from receiving your specific person, right? Because you'd say, well, I do want to be in contact when I'm with my specific person. So that's something that you would mentally overcome and change the state of. Or if they were long distance, right? You may say the same thing, right? When you're with your specific person, there is probably not going to be distance. So that's just something that we're going to overcome. We're basically describing the path from where we are to where we want to be, and then acting like that's really stopping us. But it's not going to stop you. I know for a fact, I know this video, you watching this right now, you're going to manifest whatever you want just by thinking in this idea. Because what does it matter describing the terrain? What does it describing the difference between what state we are now and what state we're going to be with our specific person? What use does that actually give us instead of just going and making the journey, right? And as I say this, and I know I did implement, or I did use a metaphor that was like distance, but this path here to here, you now to you with your specific person, takes place completely within you, right? It begins and ends within. It's the state. So I know I use this idea of traveling, but you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything extra. You're changing your state. And that is the most important thing to remember. So again, I don't care what your circumstances. I had a whole video about people commenting, such and such circumstance. Does that matter in the comments? You could do it here too. But tell me why your circumstance is working out in your favor. Tell me how amazing it's going to be with your specific person. Comment down below one thing that you and your specific person are going to do in your end state when you're married, in the relationship, or whatever. Because I want us to focus more again on why we want that thing as compared to how it's going to happen. Because when we focus on why, we naturally change our states based on our mental diet and our subconscious thinking. So comment that down below. Also remember to comment any questions or comments that you have. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website if you wanted to send me a personal comment at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I've been having so much fun uploading all these videos, and I can't wait to see you in the next one tomorrow.